Man is something that shall be overcome. Man is a rope, tied between beast and overman. A rope over an abyss. Friedrich Nietzsche's words were not a judgment, but a challenge. He wasn't telling us what we are, but what we could become. For centuries, we have been fed a comforting, paralyzing lie. Find yourself, as if you are a lost object, a forgotten key waiting to be discovered under the dusty couch of conformity. As if your identity is a pre-written destiny you must uncover. This single idea has sent millions on a fruitless quest, looking for their true self in careers, in relationships, in spiritual retreats, in the echo chamber of social media. They search everywhere except the one place it could ever exist, in the workshop of their own will. The truth is far more terrifying and far more liberating. You don't find yourself. You build yourself. You are not a mystery to be solved. You are a masterpiece to be sculpted, piece by painful piece, out of the raw, chaotic marble of your own existence. This isn't a journey of discovery. It's a journey of creation. It's a war against conditioning, a rebellion against the person the world told you to be, and a confrontation with the shadows you've been taught to fear. Today, we are not finding anything. We are forging something. We are tearing down the comfortable prison of the self you think you know, and stepping into the terrifying, exhilarating freedom of becoming the architect of your own soul. The question is, are you ready to pick up the chisel? From the moment you were born, the programming began. It was not malicious. It was not a conspiracy. It was quiet, constant, and disguised as love. The world started telling you who to be before you even knew who you were. Every good boy and good girl, every don't be so sensitive, every that's not for people like us, was a line of code being installed directly into your psyche. Your parents, with the best intentions, handed you a blueprint for a life they understood, a life that felt safe to them. Your teachers rewarded conformity and punished dissent, teaching you that the right answer was more valuable than the right question. Society, with its endless barrage of media, advertisements and trends, showed you 1,000 images of what a successful, lovable, acceptable person looks like. You learn to speak, dress, and chase goals in a certain way. This is the creation of what the psychologist Carl Jung called the persona. It's the social mask, the carefully curated version of yourself that you present to the world. It's the you that gets the job, makes the friends, and avoids the conflict. It is a necessary tool for survival, a way to navigate the complex social world. But Jung issued a terrifying warning. The greatest danger is not in having a persona, but in believing you are the persona. When the mask fuses with your skin, you forget the face beneath. You forget the raw, wild, authentic self that existed before the programming began. You become an echo of expectations, a collection of borrowed beliefs. You laugh at jokes you don't find funny. You chase promotions you don't truly desire. You nod in agreement while your soul is silently screaming no die. You have become a ghost in your own life, performing a script you never wrote. This is not living. It's a slow, comfortable form of self-erasure. And the first step to building yourself is to burn that script. It's to have the courage to ask the most dangerous question of all. If I stripped away everything the world told me to be, who would be left? Most people never dare to ask that question, because the answer is far more terrifying than the performance. When you begin to question the mask, you don't find a pure, true self waiting underneath. Instead, you come face to face with the architect of your misery, the silent force that has been building your life while you were busy trying to be like. This is what Jung called the shadow. The shadow is everything you have ever denied about yourself. It's a dark cellar in your psyche, where you have locked away every emotion, every instinct, and every desire that didn't fit the good person mask. Your rage, your envy, your lust, your greed, your weakness, your vulnerability, all the messy, chaotic, beautiful parts of your humanity you were taught to be ashamed of. You were told, don't be angry. So you buried your rage. You were told, don't be selfish. So you buried your needs. You were told, don't cry. So you buried your pain. But here's a fundamental, life-altering truth Jung uncovered. What you suppress does not disappear. It grows stronger in the dark. Your shadow doesn't just sit there quietly. It works. It becomes the invisible hand that directs your life, and you call it fate. It's the force behind self-sabotage. You finally get the loving relationship you craved, and your shadow, terrified of the vulnerability you've suppressed, makes you push it away. It whispers, they'll leave you eventually. So leave them first. You land the dream job, and your shadow, steeped in a forgotten childhood belief that you're not worthy, makes you procrastinate and fail. This is why your life can feel like a repeating pattern of the same mistakes. It's the shadow, seeking to live out the emotions you've refused to acknowledge. The man who represses his aggression finds himself constantly in the presence of angry, domineering people. He hasn't escaped his anger, he's just outsourced it. The woman who denies her own needs becomes a magnet for narcissists who drain her dry. She hasn't transcended selfishness. She has become a victim of it. Your shadow contains the blueprint of your suffering. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will dictate your choices, your relationships, and your destiny. You will keep picking the same emotionally unavailable partner, the same toxic boss, the same self-destructive habits, not because you are broken, but because your shadow is trying to get your attention. It's screaming to be seen, to be heard, to be integrated. The path to building yourself doesn't begin with affirmations or positive thinking. It begins with a descent, a journey into the cellar of your own psyche. It's the courage to face the parts of yourself you've abandoned, to look your rage, your fear, and your shame in the eye, and say, you are a part of me, because your shadow is not your enemy. It is your unlived life. It is the raw, untamed energy you need to become whole. It is the chaotic marble that once understood you can begin to sculpt into a masterpiece. The power you are looking for is in the darkness you have been avoiding. The descent into the shadow is terrifying. It's the act of taking off the mask and realizing the face underneath is not what you expected. But staying in the comfortable light of the persona is a different kind of terror. The slow, creeping death of your own potential. If Jung gave us the map to our inner dungeon, it was Friedrich Nietzsche who handed us the hammer to break the chains. Nietzsche's philosophy is not for the faint of heart. It is a declaration of war against everything that makes us weak, comfortable, and mediocre. At the heart of his work is the concept of the will to power. This is one of the most misunderstood ideas in all of philosophy. It's not about dominating others. It's not about political or social control. The will to power is the fundamental, driving force within all life to overcome, to grow, to expand, to master oneself, and to express its strength to its fullest potential. It is the force that pushes a seed to break through concrete, an artist to wrestle with a masterpiece, and a human to transcend their own limitations. For Nietzsche, most of humanity lives in a state of passive resignation. We accept the morality we are given. We obey the rules without question. We seek happiness and comfort, which he saw as pitiful, shallow goals. He called this the morality of the herd, designed by the weak to restrain the strong. The herd fears those who are different, powerful, and self-defined. So it creates systems, religions, social norms, political ideologies that praise meekness, obedience, and conformity, while labeling strength, ambition, and pride as evil. The person who wants to build themselves must reject this. They must engage in what Nietzsche called a revaluation of all values. You don't ask, Is this good or evil? You ask, is this life-affirming or life-denying? Does this make me stronger or weaker? This is the beginning of creating your own values, of becoming the author of your own moral law. This is the essence of building yourself. It is an act of defiance. It is the discipline to choose your own suffering. The herd seeks to eliminate suffering, to numb it with distractions and hollow pleasures. But the builder, the creator, the overman in the making understands that suffering is the hammer that forges greatness. That which does not kill me, makes me stronger, is not a cliché. It is a formula for self-creation. You choose the pain of the gym over the comfort of the couch. You choose the pain of learning over the comfort of ignorance. You choose the pain of loneliness over the comfort of conforming to a group you don't respect. This is the will to power in action, the active, conscious shaping of the self through overcoming resistance. You are the marble, but you are also the sculptor. You must be ruthless with your own weaknesses. You must cut away the parts of you that were programmed by the herd, the people-pleasing, the fear of judgment, the need for validation. These are not you. They are the remnants of your conditioning. Building yourself means declaring war on this inner weakness. It is a lonely, arduous, and often painful process. But for Nietzsche, it was the only life worth living. A life not of finding, but of becoming. So, how do you begin? How do you move from being a product of your past to the architect of your future? It is not a single revelation, but a daily, disciplined practice. This is the practical blueprint for building yourself, forged from the wisdom of Jung and Nietzsche. It is a path of deconstruction, confrontation, and relentless creation. You must be willing to tear down before you can build up. First, you must become a demolition expert of your own beliefs. Take out a journal and practice brutal honesty. Ask yourself, what rules do I live by that I never consciously chose? What beliefs about success, love, and life did I inherit from my parents or society? Which of my values are truly mine, and which are just a performance to be liked? This process of questioning is the first hammer blow against the prison of your conditioning. You must see the bars before you can break them. Next, you must turn and face the dragon you've been running from your whole life, your shadow. Jung's method was called active imagination. It is a form of meditative dialogue. Find a quiet space, close your eyes, and invite your shadow to speak. Ask your anger, what are you trying to protect? Ask your fear, what are you trying to warn me about? Ask your jealousy, what desire are you showing me? Don't judge the answers, just listen. Write them down. This practice brings the unconscious into the conscious realm. It takes the power away from the hidden saboteur and gives it back to the architect, you. The goal is not to eliminate the shadow, but to integrate it. Your rage, once integrated, becomes the fuel for setting boundaries. Your fear becomes wisdom. Your dark desires, once understood, can be channeled into creative ambition. The dragon you feared was guarding the treasure you need. Now, armed with self-knowledge, you begin the Nietzschean task of creation. You forge your own values. This is not about being good or bad. It is about defining what strong means for you. What is your highest aim? What principles will guide your actions, even when no one is watching? Write your own commandments. I will choose growth over comfort. I will own my mistakes without shame. I will speak truth, even if my voice shakes. These values become your new North Star. Finally, and most importantly, you must act. Building yourself is not a mental exercise. It is embodied in your daily choices. It is the discipline to go to the gym when you feel lazy. The courage to have the difficult conversation instead of avoiding it. The integrity to work on your craft when no one is applauding. Each action is a vote for the person you are becoming. Each choice is a brick in the temple of your new self. This is a slow, grueling process. There are no shortcuts. You will fail. You will fall back into old patterns. But as Nietzsche would remind you, the struggle itself is what makes you worthy. You are not finding yourself in the comfortable valley of conformity. You are building yourself on the treacherous mountain of self-overcoming. And the view from that summit is something the herd will never know. You have been lied to. The world told you to search for yourself as if you were a finished product, a static entity waiting to be unearthed. But you are not stone. You are fire. You are not a destination to be found, but a universe to be built. The emptiness you feel, the sense that something is missing, it is not a sign that you are lost. It is a call to create. It is the void inviting you to become its architect. The concepts of Jung's shadow and Nietzsche's will to power are not just philosophy. They are a blueprint for a revolution, an inner one. To build yourself is to declare that your past does not have the final say. It is to acknowledge the programming, face the shadows, and consciously choose to become the master of your own psychological reality. It is the hardest work you will ever do. It will demand your courage, your discipline, and your honesty. It may cost you relationships. It will certainly cost you your comfort. But the alternative is to remain a puppet, an echo, a passenger in your own life. That is a price no soul should be willing to pay. Stop searching. Start building.